Hey y'all, it's Eliana here. Welcome to Voices of Wisdom Wednesday, and the holidays are coming. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. How well do you navigate them? Is it with stress? Is it with calm? Is it with, are you a Zen Buddha or bobbling all over the place? What I am going to cover today is what I'm really seeing happening a lot. And I want to cover two really subtle mistakes that I see spiritual entrepreneurs and healing professionals make during holiday times or leading up to the holidays that inadvertently, not consciously, but inadvertently sabotage the very good that they intend, which causes in the end a lot more stress, and then that triggers a litany of inner criticism. So stay tuned, because there's hope. There is hope. It's anticipating the excitement of the holidays. It's time for family. It's time for getting together with friends. It's time for celebration. And anticipating them, it can generate a lot of happy anticipation. We're now on the other side of lockdown, so we're able to meet with people again. And with that also can bring the anticipation of a lot of stress because of it. There's so much unknown. And then we have busier schedules, and there are the parties, and there are the family gatherings, and the meeting up with people we haven't met with in a long time, and meeting up with the holiday Scrooges. You know a few of those? So, when you contemplate that, how well do you navigate holiday times? They can be very, very stressful, like really stressful. It's known. There's research on it. And spiritual entrepreneurs and healing professionals, we're a very sensitive, empathic lot. So, we tune in to what's going on, and we're used to giving also. So when the stress of the holidays mount, there are a few things that I really notice, and see which one you relate to most, and maybe you relate to both of them, and let me know in the comment section below. So, imagine yourself, you're anticipating, let's say, a holiday event. Imagine yourself in the event, and there's a holiday Scrooge. And this could be online also. Could be live, it could be online, doesn't matter. But when you meet up, which of these do you relate to most? I'm going to give you two options, and they could be both. There's no right or wrong here. This is an opportunity for you to tune in. It's the first step, actually, in tuning in to yourself. So do you stress yourself searching for the right words? Because you want to be polite, you want to be kind, it's holiday, good cheer, right? And you're looking for the right words to say before you actually speak, but you never seem to find them. So maybe you don't end up speaking in the end. Maybe you leave and the connection never is made. Or option two on this first thing that I'm asking you to relate to has two parts. That's the first scenario, the scenario is that you're searching for the right words, but you never seem able to find them, like I'm doing right now, right? And the first is that because you stress yourself so much that you end up shutting up, and you don't speak your heart, you don't connect, and you isolate, you disappear, right? And then the connection, the communication wasn't there. That's situation one of this first element. The opposite, it could also be, is that you end up saying all the right words. This is actually the second thing. It's not two options. I blah, 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 blah. The second one is you say what people want to hear, but you don't believe it yourself. And then you feel like shit inside, proverbial caca, because you weren't straight. In the first, which one do you relate to most? You stress yourself searching for the right words, but you can't find them, and then, you don't say and the connection isn't made. Or B, you say, you're like kind because, we're healing professionals, we're spiritual entrepreneurs, we're there, we're enlightened, we're there to help others, and the tendency is to be kind, but when you get stirred up with the holiday Scrooge, you say what others want to hear, but it's insincere because it's not really your truth inside. That's what I mean. All right. And so you end up feeling awful inside. And then when that happens, can you relate to this? Then the litany of self-criticism happens. Like, why didn't I keep quiet instead of stepping in to help them find a solution kindly, to whatever their problem or situation is, when I'm already stretched to the hilt and I need to be spending more time with me. It's like, feels like caca. It really feels like shit. And can you relate? It's like, why do we do that? What causes that dissonance? Well, the feeling like shit, it's happens because you end up being kinder to other people than you are to yourself. It's like, why, whether it's the first one of figuring out the right thing to say and it doesn't work, you don't allow yourself to express yourself. You cut yourself off from your authentic expression. And it's connected to two, because the other is, we say what people want to get along, to connect, but it's also disconnected with our truth. And it does feel like shit because we're being kinder to other people than we are to ourselves. And that triggers even more self-criticism. And it's self-sabotaging and it's self-destructive. Because we can't really help, and it's manipulative because we can't really help anyone else before we're really helping ourselves. And if we're putting other people before ourselves, it's insincere and it feels icky. Which it feels icky because we're focusing outside, giving our power away versus keeping our focus within. And number 3, it feels really awful because it's manipulative, and we are kind people, we're empathic professionals, right? But what it's doing is really, you end up forcing a solution. And can you relate? What I really see in all of this is it's like this litany of self-criticism. It's like, and it's not even your voice, it's this autopilot inside. Can you relate? And if you can relate, I'm curious, where does it come up for you most? Because first of all, you're not alone. I don't see this or hear this spoken about a lot. That's why I'm bringing this up now. Because I think we all secretly think we're the only ones, No, it's like, I don't know if most people, a lot. I think most people. And then we force the solution, and it's manipulative, and that causes so much friction. And here we are in these times where the whole holidays are meant to connect, and then you feel anything but. And then with the self-criticism, you're not even connecting with yourself, and it really starts there. So how do you move beyond that self-criticism? How do you move forward and stop letting that stop you? Well, to move beyond the self-criticism, first you have to move beyond trying to force a solution. It's like, talk about stress. It's like trying to fit the round peg in the square hole or the square peg in the round hole. It just it doesn't fit. And you don't, keep the focus on yourself. I mean, the holidays can be such a great time of healing. So, going back to that first, looking for the right words, and then you don't, because, you end up running away from it. Don't run away. It's like you're so normal. It's so normal. We're all dealing with so much. We're all moving through this, overwhelm of unpredictability and uncertainty in these times. The holidays, wow, what a great time of healing. And because you're so empathic, because you're a spiritual entrepreneur, because you're a healing professional, wow, there's no better time. It's like, especially this year, wow, beginning with yourself. You deserve it. And I mentioned a few days ago that I'm working on a new resource with a tool to help you learn to align with your inner calm during the holidays, and it'll be available shortly. It'll help you move very consciously beyond that really frustrating pattern of trying to force solutions so that you can transform your own self-doubt into self-acceptance, and then move into the holidays and move through the holidays with calm and grace, put the holy back in holidays. So if you're interested, put your name below, and when it's ready, I'll let you know. I'm really excited. It's really great. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you, and let me know which of the two above you relate to most, and wishing you a wonderful rest of your week, and that you do something kind for yourself today, because you really, really deserve it. Bye.